Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something that, let's be honest, probably feels a little too familiar for most of us: collaboration overload. You know, that feeling of drowning in a sea of meetings, emails, and endless requests. But what if I told you there's a way to get your head above water? Let's get into it.
Okay, look at this. This range, 18 to 24%, that's not just some random statistic. That's a promise. That's how much of your work week you can actually get back. We're talking about almost a full day every single week that you can reclaim from all that noise. And in this explainer, we're going to show you exactly how to do it.
So to really get this, let's talk about a guy named Scott. Now, on paper, Scott is the absolute ideal. A star leader managing over 5,000 people, literally the top contender for the CEO job. But behind all that praise and success, Scott was completely wrung out, constantly distracted, and quietly, his whole world was about to come crashing down.
Yes, Scott's story is this paradox that so many of us can probably relate to. He was, for all intents and purposes, a successful failure. I mean, he was doing everything we're told to do as modern leaders, and yet it was destroying his career, his team, and even his health. So how on earth is that possible?
Well, here's exactly where Scott's good intentions took a wrong turn. See, he was all about being a servant leader. He broke down silos, he flattened out the whole hierarchy, and he even increased his direct reports from 6 to 16, all so he could be more accessible. But the consequences? They were a total disaster. He became the bottleneck for everything, slowing down progress for everyone. And his teams? They couldn't get his time, they couldn't make decisions, and they just started to burn out.
So what was really happening to Scott? It was a textbook case of collaboration overload. And honestly, when the researchers started digging into the data, the true scale of the problem, it was just staggering.
Let's put a name to it. Collaboration overload is simply that point where the demand to work with other people becomes so intense that it actually tanks your ability to get any real work done. You know, it's that moment where being a great team player actually keeps your team from scoring any goals.
So just how bad was it for Scott? Get a load of this number: 118. In just one of his 3 divisions, an average of 118 people came to him for info or decisions every single day. For a leader at his level, that is more than 7 times what's considered ideal. Just wow.
And if that wasn't crazy enough, here's the real kicker. Out of those 118 people who needed him every day, 78 of them, that's more than half, felt like they couldn't get enough of his time to do their jobs right. So think about that. He was both the most in-demand person and the single biggest obstacle to getting things done.
So why do we let this happen to ourselves? Well, it's because being needed feels good, doesn't it? Being busy makes us feel valuable. That rush of being the go-to person, the hero who swoops in and solves every problem. It's a really powerful, really seductive feeling. Right up until the moment it isn't.
Okay, so if being in demand feels great but leads to total burnout, what's the real problem here? I mean, it's super easy to point fingers at our bosses or the tech we use, but the research points to a much more surprising source. Right? All of it, the crazy pace, the inbox that never sleeps, the back-to-back meetings, where does it actually come from? The answer is probably not what you're expecting.
The hard truth? The biggest drivers of collaboration overload are our own internal triggers, our habits, our anxieties, and these deep-seated needs we all have. That's what's really keeping us buried alive in collaborative work.
And these triggers, they pretty much fall into 2 main buckets. You can see here about 55% are tied up in our identity and reputation. You know, like that powerful desire to be helpful that makes it almost impossible to say no. The other 45%, that's driven by anxiety and control. Things like the fear of missing out, or FOMO, that makes us jump into every meeting and every project just so we don't get left behind.
Okay, so we've looked at the problem. We've figured out that it's mostly coming from inside us. But here's the good news. There is absolutely a way out. There is a clear, proven path to break free and get your time, your energy, and frankly, your life back. The solution is this really cool framework called the Infinite Loop. It all starts when you play offense. You use these specific strategies to carve out that 18 to 24% of your time. But, and this is the crucial part, you don't just kick back. You then reinvest that time into high-value work, the stuff that really moves the needle and improves your well-being. And when you do that, you get great results, which reinforces these new habits, and that fuels the loop to free up even more time. It's a virtuous cycle of getting more effective and feeling better.
So what does this actually look like in the real world, when someone truly lives this way? Well, let's meet one more leader.
This is Anja. And Anja, she represents the 1 out of 10 leaders who just work differently. She's a master of what the research calls essential collaboration. See, she's not trying to do more collaboration, she's laser-focused on doing the right collaboration. And wow, the difference is just night and day. Scott was reactive, constantly just putting out fires. Anja, she's proactive, building the relationships and networks she needs before crisis hits. Scott was a bottleneck who burned himself out. Anja is an innovator who literally energizes everyone around her. It's like they're living in 2 totally different realities.
So now, let's turn it back to you. Reading this, what's your trigger? Is it that deep-down desire to help everybody with everything? Is it that fear of missing out on the next big thing? What about that nagging need to get closure on every little task? Or is it that worry that if you say no, people will think you're not a team player? Nailing down your primary trigger, that's your first real step toward freedom.
Because here's the thing. You are not just a victim of your calendar. You're not helpless. You now have the playbook. You can choose to be an overloaded Scott, just reacting your ways straight to burnout. Or you can choose to be an essential Anja, proactively designing a work life that's not only incredibly high impact, but also deeply fulfilling. So the only question left is, who are you going to choose to be?